folks! Why Would You Ask That is a podcast that answers some of the weirdest questions. A lot of those are inappropriate for some listeners. If you're squeamish, easily disturbed, or just having a bad day, this may not be for you. But if you've got to know the answers like we do, stay tuned.
Why Would You Ask That? Presented by me, M, they, them, and
Karen, she, her.
And Remy, he, him.
And today we tell you about how clowns lay eggs.
No.
Yes, clowns lay eggs, everybody. Everybody needs to know this. Clowns lay eggs. They squat down and they get ready. They get in position to lay their egg. And then they hold one nostril and they kind of and then ooze it out.
Ooze it. I don't like that.
Clowns hatch from eggs.
I don't like that.
Then they have to take care of this egg until it sprouts arms and legs and it walks around. And, the whole thing is like a head. The whole thing is a head with arms and legs. And then eventually it sprouts a body, the rest of the clown. It doesn't actually hatch.
Like Humpty Dumpty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if the clown egg hatches, all of its internal organs spill out.
And that's how we teach Karen where clowns come from.
Well, how does the egg get there, though?
Clowns don't share all of their secrets with the public. What I know of the clown life cycle is from what I was able to visibly see, because they caught it on video. Do you remember the 2016 clown pandemic? Endemic? Pandemic. Shut up. But that was because the clowns laid too many eggs. Their life cycle got all out of whack, and they were double producing. And with the warm weather and climate change, it was making ideal clown conditions. So we had an overage of clowns.
Gross.
You know what they do with the extra eggs? What they do with the extra eggs is they take the extra eggs and then they hide them in your yard at Easter time, and that's why sometimes you have extra Easter eggs.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
Mm-mm.
So that's kind of like leaving a clown baby on the steps of a church, except that's how you get class clowns.
Okay, so for real, we're talking about clown eggs and how clowns use eggs to legitimately identify their unique looks. That's what we're talking about today. Clown eggs. For real.
So do they paint the eggs to look like their own makeup?
The clowns do not do that. I'll tell you about it. So, but first I got to talk to you about Clowns International, which is an organization, and I got to talk to you about the 1940s.
Ooh.
Do you want to hear a history lesson?
Fuck yeah.
Always.
Okay. So, Clowns International is obviously what it sounds like. It's an international organization of clowns. The origins of Clowns International goes back to 1947, when it was known as the International Circus Clowns Club. In the 1940s, it was at the circus where you would most likely find a clown. They weren't really anywhere else. There would be troops of sometimes a dozen clowns that would be employed by these shows. And in 1947, circus owner Billy Smart decided to create some extra publicity for the show by arranging for his clowns to attend to the grave of somebody named Joseph Grimaldi in the churchyard of St. James Church in London. Do you know who Joseph Grimaldi is?
Sounds like a circus name.
I mean, it does. It has a very circus name ring to it, doesn't it?
Grimaldi. It could also be a wizard name.
It does also sound like a wizard name.
An Italian wizard.
Italian wizard, yeah. I don't blame you for not knowing who Joseph Grimaldi is, because he died in 1837. And as far as I know, neither one of you are vampires and you weren't alive then.
As far as you know.
Not in this flesh suit, no.
So he was an English actor, comedian, and a dancer, and he is one of the most famous clowns ever. He expanded the role of the clown in what's called a harlequinade, which is traditionally part of a pantomime show in which you have a harlequin and a clown up on the stage playing a part in a show. So in essence, he created the base for what is considered modern clowning as we know it. He took it from like being what it was and turned it into what it is now, which is basically an entire 180 from what clowns used to do.
Be sad.
Clowns used to play the role in the productions that was not the silly, chaotic, roguish role. Usually used to be the harlequin played that role. And then once at the turn of the 1800s, Joseph Grimaldi was like, I think I'm going to do that today. And so him as the clown started doing that, being the like roguish, chaotic character. And the harlequin did the other part. And then that show was so freaking popular that he started doing that from now on. And the clown always did that part in his shows, and then other people started doing it, and then other people started doing it, and then clowns everywhere were doing it, and everybody loved it so much. Now all the clowns do it. Now all the clowns are like silly and funny and chaotic trickstery types instead of being the like more serious role that they used to be.
Do you think Loki, the god of chaos and shit like that, do you think he's a clown?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. In a way.
Probably.
He would 100% love clowns. Yes.
He probably raised a few from eggs.
Look, he does have a thing about he's got a lot of kids of his own, and they're all misfits. So yes, he would take all the misfit clown eggs. Okay, so in 1947, Billy Smart called the clowns to his club meeting at Joseph Grimaldi's grave. And they laid wreaths on the gravestone, and they had a little meeting there. And then they decided to keep meeting there every year, and it became a tradition, and they still do it to this day. And then somebody named Stan Bolt heard about this thing, and he decided that he was going to establish the International Circus Clown Club. In 1978, the International Circus Clown Club became Clowns International, and now clowns from not just London, but like all over the world join it. And that's where we're caught up with today.
And now we know.
Yes. So having an official like organization where the clowns like come together and like register as clowns and stuff was helpful in like keeping track of who was in the profession and stuff. And since the 1940s, when they started having those meetings at the church where Joseph Grimaldi was buried, was also when clowns began having a quote-unquote official church in London, because not only would they meet there in the graveyard where he was buried, but they would have little services and stuff. So in February, they would meet in their like full clown regalia and give thanks for the gift of laughter and pay respects for the clowns that had passed in the year before. And then since then, they've been like having services on Sundays and stuff. And it's not necessarily, if you watch videos of this, necessarily Christian services. It's kind of non-denominational, even though it's held in a Christian church. From what I gather, it's really interesting.
Although they do have clown ministry. So not this church in particular, but it does exist.
Mm-hmm. Seen it.
Yes, Karen has actually seen clown ministry.
Oh.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So, yeah, it was when I was in high school. We did this like Jesus retreat, basically, and we went up to a mountain. Okay. When I tell you about it, you're gonna think that it sounds like a cult, and in a way, it probably is. But I think that the key between cults and religions is that religions encourage you to go away and to go out and share, as opposed to only staying in. I don't know. Maybe it's...
It depends. We'll move on.
It depends. So basically you go up to a mountain for like 3.5 days, and they take away your phone. They take away your watches, like anything to tell you what time it is. It's all taken. You're put into rooms with people you don't know. And then you have like, basically you spend the whole day listening to talks, is what they're called. Like people getting up and sharing like different aspects of, Christianity, like prayer or Bible study or marriage. Like, yeah, like there's like legit, there's like a single life talk. So I'm just, it's geared, this one specifically is geared towards teenagers. They have them for all ages, I think, mainly teens, adults, and college age. But the daytime stuff is normal, kind of like conference feeling stuff. But then at night is when all the weird stuff really happens.
My one experience at church camp was like that too. Daytime was normal, but night got real weird.
Yeah, like it would burst into music, like we'd do weird skits, and like they always had really sad books for us to read or like stories to tell, like The Man with the Rags. That one gets me every time. It's just a very emotional weekend, but because that's the point of the weekend, is to make you emotionally vulnerable, but also amped up, if that makes sense. So the thing with the clown communion, and that's what it is called clown communion. You're all gathered, put around in a circle, and in the middle of the floor is this big wooden cross. Like it's not like a nicely sanded one. It's like a janky old gross looking cross.
Just a fucked up old cross.
Yeah.
Like somebody made it and then hauled it up here right when the weekend started.
It's supposed to look like, what it was supposed to look like back then, if that makes sense. They're like, it's supposed to look scratchy and uncomfortable. So
don't touch, you'll get a fucking splinter.
Yeah, basically. So you're all sitting in a circle around this cross, and then it's dark and everything, and then kind of lit up a little bit in the center, and then the clowns come out. And the story that the clowns tell is that there are two clowns, and they're both women. One clown, she goes and finds a stroller or like a bassinet or something, and out of it she pulls out like a little swaddled cloth thing, like something wrapped up in a blanket. And you're assuming it's a baby, and you're like, oh, it's Jesus. There you go. And she's walking around the circle with the baby in her hands, and the other one is like finding other things that are around. Like she finds a hammer, and then she finds nails, and then you're like, this is really dark. And she basically, they come together, and the one girl with the hammer and nails like points to the baby and is like, we have to kill this baby because it's gonna save everybody. They're both like sad about it, and then they put the baby on the cross, and then the one takes out the hammer, and I guess it was a stake. It wasn't really nails because it was big. I remember it was big.
Just like fucking railroad spikes.
Yeah, like she like hammers it into this thing, and then she when you're like kind of like goes dim and everybody gets real quiet, they pull the spike and the hammer away, and then they pick up the cloth and open it up, and it's bread. It's a loaf of bread, the body of Christ.
Very fun. Okay.
And then you take communion. And after that, you were given like a little sheet of paper and a pencil to write down something that you wanted to like put behind you, like a big regret or something that hurt you, something that scars you and you want to let go, basically. And so once you've had communion, then you take your piece of paper and you hammer it to the cross. And then the team people, the people who are leading the weekend, they go and they kind of connect all of the pieces of paper, and then they light it on fire. And that's clown communion.
So what the fuck? I mean, this is, I think, the second or third time I've heard this story. I still can't fucking get over it. Like, what the hell?
I should tell, I've witnessed this 4 or 5 times.
Holy shit, they just keep doing it.
Yeah, they do it every time.
That's some kind of weird fucked up shit. They're like, we're gonna murder this fucking baby!
Mm-hmm.
Psych, it's bread. Except it symbolizes the fucking body of Christ, and we're gonna fucking ream this guy after you cannibalize him.
Mm-hmm.
Is it clowns just to make it more palatable for the children? Is that what it is?
No, because I think they also do it for the adults. It's supposed to, I don't know, kind of make it softer, I guess. Christians are weird.
Honk honk.
We have a hard time reconciling the violence of each story with telling it to people who aren't a part of our religion and explaining that the violence in these stories is necessary for for redemption.
I have been part of pagan rituals that are so similar to this without the misdirection. I'm just fascinated every time that I encounter something that is intended to be done for Christianity's sake that I have participated in for pagan reasons. It just, it just always blows my mind.
Yeah.
I have not participated in anything like this as far as I'm aware, my current memory. I have to put that in.
Mine didn't have clowns in it.
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure I've never had a religion clown. But, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I don't trust my own memory. And every day I'm like, man, there have been some fucked up things.
I mean, we drank some wine, we ate some bread, we wrote on paper about things we wanted to leave in the past. We burned the paper.
As you do.
The only thing missing was the clowns and to talk about killing babies.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Well, unlike those clowns, these clowns at the clown church I don't think necessarily participate in that kind of, churchery. Instead, as far as I've been aware from the YouTube videos that I've watched, it's fairly non-denominational, or at least open and welcoming, and I haven't seen anything violent, and very silly. Everybody's in their clown outfits. The minister's also in a clown outfit. The stained glass windows are also very clown oriented in the church. The whole church is clowns. So Clowns International keeps up with the registry of who is a clown and their unique look. Because if you didn't know, clowns have to register their looks, and they've been doing it for about 70 years now, because there's an unspoken rule amongst clowns that they are not supposed to copy each other's look. And to prevent that, Clowns International started this database of where they could register their particular makeup and clothing and stuff. And they do this with eggs.
Eggs.
So Holy Trinity Church isn't just where they have these clown services. It's also home to the Clowns Gallery and Museum. And the museum is in the back of the church. It's in 3 small rooms at the back. People have donated, clowns have donated a bunch of stuff over the years. So there's a collection with photographs and clown memorabilia, props, costumes, all kinds of things in 3 rooms at the back of the church. And in the main church itself is this huge stained glass window of Joseph Grimaldi, complete with the appropriate biblical quote that says, "A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance."
Oh, that's a good clown quote.
Yeah. To everything, turn, turn, turn.
Pop it over here so that you two can look at it. It looks like that.
I know it's supposed to be one of those floofy collars, but it looks like he just has a massive neck. And I appreciate that.
So what the window is meant to look like, it's supposed to be done in like a traditional stained glass window style, like you do with the saints, you know. So it's got like the big head. He's got like the Shakespeare collar thing around his neck, though. He's got like the big body with the poofy weird outfit, but then it's got his clown head with his clown makeup. It's very creepy, actually, in my opinion. He's got a big giant smile on his face. I don't think the clowns probably find it creepy, as he is the like father of modern clowning. Me, I'm not a clown. I find it a little creepy. If I were sitting there getting services and stuff, and I just looked up and he was looking down at me with that smile, I would be a little creeped out. But that's me.
I think it's great.
It's beautiful, though.
Mostly because I don't like churches, but I feel like I'd feel safer with the clown watching over me.
Now, it's beautifully made. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful craftsmanship. It's beautiful. It's just the smile. It's just the smile.
Just the smile.
Other than the big stained glass and the like photographs and stuff, there's some other highlights of the museum. There's like a suit owned by another really famous clown named Coco the Clown. There's a big collection of awards that people have won for clowning. And then there's another like little piece of like really like unusual stuff, which is the eggs. So there at the church, you can see some of the eggs where the clowns have registered their unique looks. The archive of clown eggs includes something like 250 painted eggs.
250?
Only 250 because they've only been doing it for 70 years.
Hmm.
Yes, because you don't have to register your looks, which is why Puddles the Clown doesn't have one, I guess, because, not that I could find, because I guess maybe he hasn't paid for it. It seems to be really expensive.
Oh, you gotta be like professional. But Puddles could probably pay for it. But also the thing about Puddles' makeup is that he's taking from a classic. So
I don't think he's stealing anyone's look, though.
no, but I think it's based on
Classic clown look.
classic clown look. Yeah. Like early clowns.
If he's not doing anything original, then maybe he can't. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he stole it for sure, but I think that it's so.
You don't think Puddles is original enough to get his own egg, Karen?
I feel like he should get his own egg.
I need Puddles to have an egg. I love Puddles.
Holy Trinity Museum houses 50 out of the 250 painted eggs.
Well, where's the rest?
Some of them are at a different location. There are 2 locations, but the other location is closed, like, permanently at the moment, and so Holy Trinity has 50, and I think they're closed at the moment, too. I think they closed so that the church could be renovated or something, I read.
I hope they don't break the eggs. That's a lot of embryonic clowns.
Mm-hmm.
So, when a new member registers with the organization, a replica of their personal makeup design is carefully painted onto a ceramic egg
Oh.
and added to the register.
Is that what they're calling it these days?
Clowns help the tradition along by sending photos of their made-up faces and swatches of fabric from their costumes. Now, the egg painting started all the way back in 1946, technically before Clown International or the International Circus Clown Club ever actually started. The egg painting started before the club started.
Huh.
Here's a picture of the founder of Clown International painting eggs, Stan
The man.
Bolt. Stan Bolt.
Stan the man Bolt.
Stan formalized the egg painting because he would paint the clowns' faces onto hollowed out chicken eggs as a hobby way back when in the 40s. And then he started using it as like a useful record of faces for posterity as a way to just like memorialize the great clowns of the day. He painted 200 eggs.
Wow.
Also, if you look closely at this photo of Stan the Man Bolt, you could see that one of these eggs has its arms coming in. That's not even a joke. It has arms.
What?
If you click on it, you can look at this, and if you zoom in, you can see that one of these eggs does have arms. Yes, you're right.
It has arms. It is growing.
I just thought it was his hair.
Hair?
Yeah.
Karen, eggs don't grow hair.
Well, these ones do.
Don't be ridiculous.
Obviously.
These ones do.
Modern eggs, maybe, but these are egg olds. Old eggs.
I mean, did they not preserve the ones he made?
Karen, they grew up.
Oh. Got
What
it.
happened was he painted these 200 eggs, and then a lot of them got lost or broken.
Oh.
Oh, that's why they switched to the air quotes ceramic.
Yeah, 26 of them managed to be preserved. And while I was reading in an interview with the current egg painter, she said that she had talked to somebody who used to eat in a restaurant that had a cabinet that had the 26 eggs in it back in the 70s. And they didn't even know what the eggs were back then. They just were eggs with clown faces on them.
Oh.
And then the restaurant closed down, and then the eggs disappeared, and nobody knew what happened to the eggs. And then at some point, this woman had called in and said that they found these 26 eggs in like their like family members' attic or something, or back room, and so they gave the eggs back.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Finally, the children find their way home.
We wouldn't even have those 26 original eggs if it wasn't for that. So we have 26 original hollowed out chicken eggs with clown faces painted on them. And then another 46 clown eggs were like recreated from the originals. And then the rest are like new faces.
Mm.
There's a cool book that you can buy on Amazon, and it's not very expensive, where a photographer went and documented the whole collection of clown eggs. It's called The Clown Egg Register by Luke Stevenson.
I've got it written down, and now I got to look up how much it is right now, because I can't exist without knowing.
I'll wait.
Oh, what a lovely little book! It's $17.
Okay, that's not too bad. Oh,
So nowadays, the person who paints the eggs is named Debbie Smith, and she's been doing it since 2010.
Nice work, Debbie.
She's responsible for taking the pictures and fabric samples from each clown and recreating like every minute detail of their look onto the eggs. And it has to be like hyper detailed, super minute. Like she can't miss anything about their look because it is intended to be a recreation of their look specifically so that their look can be like unofficially copyrighted. Because it's not a real copyright, but it's an unofficial copyright so that it can be like preserved and protected and kept safe so the other clowns don't copy it, basically.
nice.
Wow, she even got like the eyeliner in the eyeball veins in this. Damn, bro.
Yes. Yeah, she does a good job.
Like some of them she goes simple, and then sometimes like these clowns come in, and I'm like, oh god, that egg is gonna be fully grown by the time I'm 30. Holy shit, Freddy the Clown. Damn, dude.
Here is a picture of a shelf of eggs, for one thing, just so you can look at it.
Mm.
It's so small.
But so that Karen can see what M is looking at, here is an egg that Debbie has painted.
Aww.
This egg,
Like these eggs are fucking amazing and mildly terrifying.
so this egg is just like a clown egg. It's got its little mouth open with the blue lipstick. It's got a blue nose. It's got its eyes. They look a little bit sad. It's wearing like a little bowler hat, blue suit, little bow tie. It's 3D a little bit. That's because Debbie says if they have a red nose, or in this case a blue nose in this picture, I'll use clay to give a 3D effect to it, which helps distinguish that character.
Aww.
This is like top art. Like, bro.
This is really great. She's really skilled.
She is very skilled. In the case of like this one,
Oh god. This one's gonna stand over my bed at night. Fucking Christ. I don't. It's so realistic. Oh my god. Like,
this one that M doesn't like is very flesh colored, and It's got, 3 tufts of orange hair coming off of it. And this is probably the problem. It has hair. It's got a 3D red nose. It's got like a very real looking, like open mouth with black lipstick with the white smile and everything. Its eyes are staring right into your soul. Yeah.
No, his mouth is like, he's got red lipstick, but then he's got like blue paint.
I think that's
like
black.
Or black paint underneath his bottom lip and like 2 coming down from his nostrils to his upper lip.
Okay, it just looks open. It's just like a optical illusion to me.
It's the eyebrows.
I think it's supposed to be a goatee.
Maybe it is.
I don't know, but it's the eyebrows that are getting.
Oh no! I know what it is.
What?
I know what it is. It's supposed to be his mouth, like really wide open, and the uvula.
No, man, that's not a uvula. That's just his weird ass fucking look.
No, I know, but like, okay, so do you see how? Oh my gosh, I would have to draw it. I would have to draw it to explain it to you, because if you use the negative space of that black.
Oh, you're saying that he's painted up to look like he's screaming this entire time, but meanwhile,
yeah,
are the weird ass, like, not tongue floating in the mouth?
Yes.
And yet this man has eyebrows that are fucking horrifying. It's the eyebrows, dude. The eyebrows combined with these realistic baby blue eyes, and it's just like, whoa.
I think those are also supposed to be his eyes. Like the...
No, don't tell me this, Karen! Oh my god!
No, the eyebrows are not his eyes. It's the black lines that are coming through.
That's what I'm freaking out about! Oh, this one's so much more pleasant.
Okay.
Aww. This one looks kind of like Puddles.
He's like a little goth man.
He's got the little goth sad clown look with the little red lipstick, with the black lines coming down, all white face. He's got a little hat. Yes.
Much better.
He's also got very realistic looking eyes, though. All of them do.
I could live with that. With that. Well, some of them are kind of simple. Like, if the eye look is simple. Or maybe she just, like, pushed it over time and, like, really went to town. Like, I swear, I don't know, man.
She's incredibly talented. Now, she also says that it's challenging to do this because if she's never met the clown, she says, or if their character doesn't use a lot of makeup, then, and we saw this with the one that super freaked out M, it didn't use like just a ton of makeup, then you're basically doing a portrait of their face, she said, and that can be really challenging. It says, if I've seen them perform or have some sort of history with them, then it becomes more real. For instance, when I created my husband's egg portrait and he sat for me, I was thinking it didn't really actually look like him as a clown. And then I finally realized it was because he didn't do the pose he would normally do as a clown, where he opens his eyes wide and his mouth a little bit. And so Debbie and her husband are both clowns. And I think that she is like super good at creating the clown eggs and like wants them to be so good and so real and like so great, because maybe it's because she and her husband are both clowns and they like really understand the tradition here and like why it's so important and so cool.
Aww.
It's important to them. I admire that. Like, that's a lot of very good dedication to something. Like, I think it is important to have like this archive of clown tradition, and it's very neat what she's doing with the eggs. Just the guy with the orange hair and the weird eyebrows are very scary. But I think she's turned it into like this really, really cool art form.
Yeah, she says that she will typically spend about 3 days per egg painting and molding and stuff. And then she'll paint one for the clown to keep and one to go in the archives.
Aww.
That's great. I think this is great. I'm Googling now a whole bunch of clown eggs, and they're just got like a little Grimaldi egg there.
Yeah, they're really nice. This is a nice, just really nice, wholesome, really sweet thing. I love it. Now, reading about this really made me wonder if, like, other circus arts people had their own traditions that are, like, weird to us, but, like, just really, like, wholesome and sweet that I want to learn about now. It just made me wonder.
Yeah. Like, what do sword eaters share? And fire breathers? And acrobats?
I just know the circus considers its members like a family. They they perform together and they travel together and they spend so much time together. And like in their own little performance, like groups, like the clowns, they just are like such a tight group, It's not like there's just a wealth of clowns out in the world. It's not like it's a highly sought after profession, So
Yeah.
I just want to know about all of their little traditions now, because this is such a weird, cool little thing, and it's so sweet, and I liked learning about it.
I rather like real clowns.
Mm-hmm.
Not like clowns, like 2016 when it was like overpopulation of clowns in the wild. We had to cull the population. Actual clowns that give a shit and want to make people smile.
Mm-hmm.
There have been some really weird and unpleasant clowns throughout history, including clowns in the wild that want to just scare people. People like killer clowns. People have done a real disservice to clowns in horror movies. and then there's another thing I don't know if the two of you know anything about, called Wrinkles the Clown. Do you know about Wrinkles the Clown?
Wrinkles the Clown sounds like a clown I don't want to know anything about, especially when you say Wrinkles the Clown like that.
Yeah, I don't.
Karen, do you know anything about Wrinkles the Clown?
Mm-mm. No.
Tell us about...
Wrinkles the Clown was a clown that put out his phone number for parents to use to call him to scare their kids. And he got really famous because his video was on YouTube because he hid underneath a little girl's bed and came out from under her bed in the middle of the night.
What the fuck?
And then
That is...
Yeah. Hold on. I'll give you a picture of him. Hold on. And then he's real. He's not a horror movie. He looks like he's from a horror movie, but he's not. I'll delete him once I show him to you. That's what he looks like.
Oh, God. That is a nightmare.
What the fuck?
So
that would not be okay.
What the
This
hell?
is a real man in a real suit and a real mask with a soulless, hollow, unavailable eyes. Like, non-existent. That's the word.
Unavailable.
Unavailable. Sorry.
For now. Oh my god! Like he's like, it's like his face is starting to melt and come off. Like, and it's like a corpse, a living corpse. I don't. Way to fucking traumatize children, parents. Oh my god! And this guy just does that. He must have made some interesting bank that way. How many times do you get to scare children as a profession in your life? But also, like, what the ever living fuck? Why? I don't understand.
Yeah. So he just sucks. So
there needs to be more nice clowns just to make up for that one guy.
Yeah, so parents would call him to scare their kids, and then that video went on YouTube, and with him crawling out from under this little girl's bed, and then he would get a lot of, like, hate phone calls, but then also he got, like, a huge influx of phone calls from parents trying to get him to come and scare their kids, and using him as, like, a boogeyman. There's a documentary, and he himself was disturbed by the amount of people who wanted him to come and scare their kids, because he was like, I don't know, I just thought, like, in this age of parenting, we need different ways to punish our kids, but, like, this is a lot of people. I'm getting, like, flooded with calls, man. They never did show his face on the documentary, though.
Glad.
He was like, I don't want people to know who I am. Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
It was horrifying watching this documentary because, like, the parents would, like, be calling the voicemails were, like, you'd hear the mom on the voicemail be like, the kids screaming in the background being like, no, don't call. And she's like, this clown's going to come and eat you if you don't stop and do what I tell you to do, and stuff like that. And he was just like, I just have so many people who want me to do this. And it's just stupid. It's a lot. So there's a lot of people who have made a really bad name for clowns. And, yeah, I just liked this really wholesome bit of clown trivia that I learned. Real clowns are just very nice, and they try so hard to get through the stereotypes that have really been, like, foisted upon them.
Yeah.
When I did research for the clowns of 2016, like, they were really, really upset, like, because of the thing, and it was getting, like, downright murderous, and it was getting harder for clowns to make a living, like, and died at that one. Amped up clown hate.
Yeah. I agree. It's really sad because like the clown communion is weird, but given the circumstances and the environment that you're in, these women really were really very nice whenever I met them. Like, because after the first time that I experienced it, I started doing teams thing. Like, I was on the team to help put this whole weekend on for other kids. So I actually like met them, and I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, you make me so emotional every time. Because I mean, they do put on a very good and sincere performance. So yeah, you get lost in it. Clowns, they get a bad rep. I think they're neat.
I like clowns. Really emotional about clowns. Do you need a clown egg to get you through these tough times?
Have we discussed what it is about clowns that scare us so much?
The slight separation from humanity that people give them because they're happy despite the climate settling to some people.
Good assessment. Yeah, I would have to agree with all of those.
Yeah, I think it's just the face distortion.
Yeah.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, you heard it here first. Adopt a clown egg. Raise it with lots of love. Going out there in the world is tough for clowns.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
Oh, okay, everybody, and thank you for listening to this.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this little break from really gross stuff. Even though it started really gross with your description of clown egg birth.
Gotta be something gross in every episode.
Clown birth is a beautiful act, alright? There is nothing more beautiful than the act of clown birth.
Right.
But thanks everybody for listening. We are very excited to take your questions too, because we want to hear them and we want to answer them, and we are so super qualified to answer questions. So what you can do is you could visit our website, which is whywouldyouskthat.com, and go to that little contact form, throw in a question, or you can email us at whywouldyouskthatpod@gmail.com. So please send us your questions. We don't care how weird it is, how gross it is. Just don't ask any personal questions. That's our one line. Ask your weird questions. That's what we want. So thank you for listening. This is M, Karen, and Remy, and ask us some shit. Thank you. Good night.